And welcome to another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. Today, guys, we're going to be watching a game between two players that I can't pronounce their names, so don't hate me. Let's just introduce them as the Night Elf, the pink Night Elf on the left side of Echo Isles, up against the red human on the right side. One is, look, the names will be in the video title or the description, depending on if YouTube will let me put the Asian letters. I don't know, I think it's Mandarin letters. I think that's right. I don't know, but I think they're Chinese players, and I haven't got a clue. So, if anyone can, if there's like an English nickname or translation, then maybe I'll put that up there if I can find it. But for now, I don't know. But yeah, this game looks really cool. It's just like a regular game as far as I can tell, maybe just like a ladder match or something. But it looked really cool just from like the preview of it. So we'll see if it's actually good. And I know it's kind of like I've not posted videos for 2 weeks, and I'm really, really sorry about that. I kind of started playing WoW again. I shouldn't be, but I am. So I'm sorry, it's a very addictive game. But let's go ahead and see. We have a Demon Hunter coming out. He's going to be Ancient of War creeping his green camp right here. Pretty much a standard thing to do. He's against human player, of course. He's got to whip the wisp. There is a farm going up in his base. Like I said, it's all pretty standard. Of course, he's putting those Moonos in a perfect position so he can come back here with the Ancient of War, stick it down right there, and he'll be able to go ahead and block that off wonderfully. Over here we do have the Archmage with the Militia and the Footman. Here comes that wisp looking in, maybe trying to get a nice kill on a water elemental that maybe tanked a lot, but it looks like what's happening there, maybe a mistake. I don't know what that was exactly. It might have been a timing thing. If you spend time to kill the wisp, it takes longer to get here. And I don't know if that's the case, but he's definitely on his way over here. He's maybe very well could have been trying to just slow down the human player. It's a possibility, or it was just a mistake. But I kind of have a doubt that I have a feeling that there was some kind of intention there, and maybe this just wasn't like, maybe usually there is like a low HP water elemental or something. Honestly, I just don't know. But there you go. You can see he's coming in here, and is he going to get the experience? It looks like he does, but he does also get surrounded, and I'm not sure if he did actually. I don't know. But either way, there you go. And he is surrounded right now. He's trying to go ahead and kill the Archmage to go ahead and get out of that surround. It's not going to quite work because the human player is going to get a really nice Fumin micro to replace that Archmage as it moved out of the way. And of course, that's going to force the Demon Hunter to go ahead and TP out of there. We're going to see the Archmage, or the archers I threw here, they're going to have to retreat as well. That one of them that was full HP is going to come down here maybe for a bit of scouting, a bit of harassing again, looking if it is kind of this theme to delay the human player a little bit here with the harassment, and with the archers as well as just get some scouting information, which is all pretty handy and dandy. Like, is he going to go for the expansion? Is he going for that? Is he going for a tech? Because I don't know if he really was able to see the tech just a little bit earlier, but we can see there's a blacksmith as well as an arcane vault and tech going up for the human player right now. So, interesting to see what he does. He's going to go ahead and pick up a Staff of Teleportation on the Demon Hunter. However, the Archmage was able to pick up the Boots of Speed, so he shouldn't really have to fear the Demon Hunter too terribly much on the Archmage, but he does have to be careful to not lose Footman to it. And in fact, this Demon Hunter will prevent this creep camp right there from being crept out whatsoever by the human player. He's going to have to try to not lose that Archer, and in fact, that's what he's going to do, run it around. Of course, great micro right there using the critter, just in case, as a little bit of a buffer, movement buffer. It didn't really matter in that case, but it might have. However, the Ogre Mauler is kind of in the way as well. So that works too. And will we see a little bit of XP going on to the Archmage? Indeed, we will. The human player resuming the creep on this. Now, this is interesting. This is potentially setting up for a surround on the Demon Hunter if he can do it right, but it looks like he might just say, no, just going to run the Archer or the Archmage all the way away, or even have to TP because he's kind of getting blocked by the Ogre Mauler and potentially by those Archers right there. So really good play by both players. But again, I would say that the human player maybe could have played that a slightly bit better, not have to teleport out of there. Now you can see the Demon Hunter. He's going to go ahead and start working on the Ogre Mauler. And in the downtime, let's take a quick look. Do we see over here an Ancient of Wonders as well as a Hunter's Hall? Maybe going to be seeing some Dryad Bear type play coming in from the Night Elf. Pretty standard against humans, so we'll probably be seeing that, especially if the human's teching. And of course, with the Blacksmith up, he's going Rifleman. That just makes sense. And he's going to have a very interesting kind of push coming out. So what he's going to be pushing, I don't know, but if you're making Riflemen this early in the game, you want to do something with them. Of course, you need to have a few before you can actually do that. Will we see some kind of a second hero, a Tavern hero coming in from the human player? It looks like that's the case. It's going to be a Naga, and in fact, a Naga is going to allow him to start picking off units, or going for the Demon Hunter. You can play a lot of pressure if that's cold slowed arrows, as you can see. It slows both his attack speed and his movement speed, so it's very, very powerful for a hero that relies very heavily on speed. You can see that potion being passed to the Naga from the Archmage, which is going to allow him to actually go ahead and tank that and actually force the Demon Hunter out of that fight at 29 HP. He had no TP, so he did have to be really careful, and he does have a Wand of Illusion, 3 charges right there on the Demon Hunter should he need to use it to provide like some sort of buffer, but he can't really do that on a low HP hero or on those archers or something, just in case there's a big push at his base. He could use that to kind of maybe have some kind of pretend extra forces, and that does count. It always, one, it demoralizes your enemy if they see a bunch of extra archers that they weren't expecting, or two, if you do it on your hero, it can just kind of be used to micro and block and kind of soak up some damage. Okay, that coffee is hot. I shouldn't have taken such a big gulp. There you go. Usually my coffee's a little colder by now, but it's hot. That's good though. It's a good thing. Yeah, so let's look back at the human player's base. We can see he's going up for casters. Pretty much what you would expect in the long rifle is one of the most important upgrades for any unit if you can, and I guess there's only 2 units that do that. It would be the riflemen and the archers, but if you're going to make those guys into battle units at tier 2 or tier 3, you should always get their range upgrade. It's a really, really potent upgrade, and it actually increases their DPS by quite a bit in a battle, and it also increases their efficiency and their effectiveness when masked, so definitely something that you want to have if you're going to be going. So it definitely also indicates to us that the human player is looking to make quite a few more of these riflemen. There's always a chance that he has to change his mind, but it's not a very expensive upgrade, so it's generally worth having. It's always good to have a rifle caster against any kind of bear play anyway. Well, it's not the best, but it's okay. It's a perfectly reasonable choice, and on this map, I can't say I disagree with it. It's a map that's very small. You want to be able to take map control if you can. And while I thought he was going to go for a push, he's been going for map control to creep out the map as fast as he possibly can and get the experience advantage. And the Naga Sea, which actually has played pretty well into that for him, because it allowed him to kind of take map control from the Night Elf player. However, the Night Elf player also has the Naga Sea, which of his own right now at this point, and he will, of course, be trying to creep that up. He's already got quite a bit of experience on it, but both players do have a bit of experience on their Naga. And, of course, the human player, because he got his first, he was creeping a little bit faster and did have the map control with that one fight that he won at the tavern over there. He was going to go ahead and already be level 2. Now the Demon Hunter is going to pick up level 3 by killing one of these water elementals. We're going to see another water elemental potentially dying, but it's not, because he's going to run that in the opposite direction, and the Demon Hunter is going to say, oh, I have to come over here because there's a fight, in fact. And the Night Elf player is trying to kill this Naga Sea Witch. Will he happen to kill it? It looks like he's going to be able to run that away, but he does have to do something about that Demon Hunter. He does have a staff on the Demon Hunter, but there's nothing on the Archmage to prevent that Naga from going down, and in fact, it does die. So there you go. Now we're going to go ahead and see that one of those archers, or I think that was an archer, yeah, getting TP out of there, the Staff of Preservation getting out of there. And the Demon Hunter is going to go ahead and try to continue focusing on this Archmage if he can. There is the Night Elf player's Naga running right back into this fight, maybe a little precariously, and he might end up going down to the creeps. Look at this, very, very low on HP, but he's going to be just fine. And here comes some militia as well to try to continue to fight this Demon Hunter. Just wants to kill the Demon Hunter. There's also a Sorceress coming right here, which could potentially allow for a surround if he could just use it. He's just had it on auto follow on the queue from the building right onto the Archmage, so he kind of messed that up a little bit. And there is this, maybe the slow. No, it's going to be a Divine Shield onto the Demon Hunter. Lots of micro going on right now. This is really quite close, but a mana burn, I think, will not kill it, but is he fast enough? He's not quite fast enough to go ahead and actually manage to kill the Demon, or the Archmage right there. He's going to start staffing out with the Staff of Teleportation, and he's going to be able to get out just in the nick of time. So quite an exciting game already so far, and I'm very confused right now as to why this game didn't have better reviews, but there you go. We'll see. Maybe there's a big glaring problem with the game. Maybe there's not. Maybe we'll be the first people to truly appreciate it. That would be great. And over here we can just see the elf player. He's trying to just do some standard stuff. Heal up a little bit, drop your items to make the most out of your healing, your moon wells, etc., your rejuvenation, all that. It does heal for more if you drop your items, heal, and then pick them back up. Of course, by now everyone should pretty much know that, and if you don't, that's okay. Just remember it, because just remember it. It's very important. It can win you a game. It seriously can win you a game. Just think of all those times when you have a hero that gets away with like 5 HP or 10 HP or something. Those times are made by dropping your items on the ground. They really are. It's fantastic. Also by picking up your tomes, but sometimes it's hard to remember to pick up your tomes. I don't know why. You never really forget to pick up your items usually, but sometimes the tomes you just forget. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. Something about tomes. I don't know. I would like to see an experiment or a study done by a group of scientists at maybe MIT to figure out what that's all about, because I think we have a lot of social value coming in from that. Tome of XP going to go to the Naga Sea Witch. Of course, we can see 3 Druids of the Claw in bear form right here. Well, I guess 2 are in bear form. which is going to allow him to start really power creeping. I mean, he was already kind of creeping pretty well. Most of the creep camps are crept out at this point. I think the only things left, we have a couple of greens right there. We have this orange. Pretty much stuff on the human side of the map. There is this one camp left over here, I think, and I guess that camp, that green camp. Oh, and then orange camp. You know, I could just do this, couldn't I? Oh, no, it doesn't show me the camps for some reason. Is it? Oh, there we go. But that's not, it's bugged. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not. We don't have any observers in this game, so watching the replays, it's difficult. Okay, it's difficult. Yeah, and so both players again just creeping up, and we can see some pretty nice items actually on the human heroes right now. We can see double scrolls of healing. I caught myself this time, and of course a nice potion of lesser invulnerability on the Naga Sea Witch, as well as some claws of attack and boots of speed, and also some evasion, which is a really important thing. It's 15% evasion, as you can see from the item and a circlet, just making this Naga Sea Witch really nice and tanky, which is really going to be important against basically the bears, the demon hunter, and the Naga. That's a lot of focus fire, so if you do get your Naga caught in a bad spot, you really want to have something to actually let it tank and to let it get out of there, and that's basically what those items are going to do. And of course, the double scrolls of healing will allow him to keep his army a little bit more durable against this army. And that's going to be particularly important because he only has a couple of priests, and it's going to be a rifle army with a couple of breakers, it looks like, added in. So it's mostly going to be reliant on having those scrolls right there to actually keep him up. So he's basically going to have to micro really well, keep his units at fairly even health, so that once they get down, he can have a really nice, efficient use of those scrolls and actually make them well worth their money. And if he does that, then he can probably win the battles. But of course, if he's doing that, he's going to have a hard time picking off the units because there's going to probably be two staffs. No, just one. Okay, just one staff. Maybe that's all he's going to need. Against this strategy, it's very reasonable. You don't necessarily need two because it's going to be hard to actually focus down a unit when your main focus is going to be to keep your units alive and kind of at a low HP. Maybe, you know, that way you're not having to spend money, and it's really an economy-focused strategy that we're seeing the human player play here, and that's very much solidified by the fact that he's taking this expansion. On this map, however, expansions are a very interesting dynamic, and you always have to consider this on any map like this where there's only 4 gold mines in total. And basically the way it splits is that each player kind of gets one unless one player gets a massive advantage over the other. If that happens, then they kind of win because they get 2 gold mines and they end up with a total of 3, and their opponent ends up with a total of 1. So that's kind of a big concern. The other issue is that if you take your gold mine early and your opponent takes his later, but you don't finish him off early, then he's going to end up with an advantage at the end of the game when you're about even. Now, this is a wonderful use of the illusions, the wand of illusion right there. Just have those bears out. It's very demoralizing. It's very difficult to position against something like that, and you have to run away from it unless you can get some kind of dispels or figure out which ones are fake. And you can see some of these slows are going off onto the fake ones, and it's just not going to be very good for the human player right now. But he's going to have to try to take this fight. If he's in tower range, which he is right now, then he's going to be maybe a little bit better off here. As you can see, unfortunately, he's kind of focusing down some of these illusions, which is soaking up quite a bit of damage. That Archmage taking lots of hits as well. He's going to have to run back here, but there are 4 or 5 towers up, 4 in range of this battle, and this Demon Hunter actually has been surrounded by footmen, and he's going to be forced to TP out. What a wonderful go-ahead micro. What a wonderful micro from the elf, or from the human player, to get that surround off, while basically probably being a little panicked about the life of that Archmage because it was quite low and he was having to run quite far away because those units could have just tanked right in. Bears are really good at tanking against towers, especially if there's not very many of them, such as 4, not really that much. Especially with the illusions, but I don't know how much rejuve we really saw going off in that battle. Maybe the elf player could have maybe done a little better. There was some more rejuves. I don't know. I was kind of too focused on the Archmage to tell, so that's my bad. But here we go. Both players are getting their expansions. The elf player getting a little bit late here on getting the expansion, but that's kind of, they both went for it about the same time. The elf player a little bit later, and of course human expansions go up much faster. So that's more or less to be expected. You can see a potion of lesser invulnerability being picked up for the Archmage. That means both of his heroes have one at this point, so both of them are going to be able to have like a get out of jail free card. And with his sorceresses, is he going to go for the invisibility upgrade to kind of give him the extra one? It doesn't look like he's quite going for that just yet. He probably will get it at some point. Trying to get a workshop up, a really good idea because there's so many dryads out, just to go ahead and get some mortar teams. But it looks like all of the peasants that were building that have been killed, and in fact he might even have to cancel this. He's trying to force the fight, trying to do as much damage as possible, focusing down on those bears. Will he keep these units alive and in even health? he kind of, that was a bad use of the scroll of healing right there. He just went ahead and popped it, I think, to save 1 unit. Not very efficient, especially because it was a priest. Maybe he needed to in this case. I don't think so, though. I think that might have just been a bit of a panic, but there you go. And he looks like he's still doing okay in this fight. He just has to go ahead and bring in some militia, and there they come right now. The Naga is taking a lot of damage, but he does have that potion of lesser invulnerability. He's gone ahead and used it, and now that is going to be just fine for at least a little while. Keeping it in that very precarious position right here where it's kind of trapped into that wall, but he's just going to go ahead and say that's okay because you're going to switch your focus to my Archmage, who's just fine. Buys a couple of potions of healing and uses one on him right there. Going to have that Demon Hunter staffed out, and the Elf player going to run away right now. And there you go. So that was a little bit of sloppy micro from both players. Realistically, I think both players could have done a little better there. Not trying to criticize, but just from kind of like a perspective and as an observer, would have liked to see a little more. I'm not gonna lie. And I feel bad. I feel like I'm being like a really bad critic all of a sudden, but. That was a really bad fight. Don't hate me. They're really good players. They've played really well so far. So I'm not trying to criticize. I'm not trying to talk any kind of smack. Just my wonderful 2020 hindsight observer vision. Obviously, it's much easier to play. A disclaimer, etc., etc. Don't send me hate mails, please. People don't really send me hate mails, which is good. It's great. I think everyone loves me. That's what it is. I don't get hate mails. Therefore, everyone loves me. QED logic. Take that. I don't know. See, I don't cast for 2 weeks, and I all of a sudden start to be complete. I can't even talk. I'm laughing. Okay, all right. Okay, I stilled myself. My nerves. Okay, we're good. We're good. I'm gonna take a drink of coffee. Hold on. Okay. All right. We're back in the game. Another assault is going to be coming up here from the Night Elf player onto the main base of the human. Again, he wants to go for that workshop. It looks like maybe could have been better off just going ahead and killing the Arcane Vault here. But if he gets the workshop, I can't fault him. Although it's kind of strange that he was running in and going for that without the bears at the front of the line. But those guys are a little slower. So there you go. And here comes that fight. Once again, will that bear get staffed out? It does get staffed out at 200 HP, quite good. And we're just going to go ahead and see that these fairy dragons are being really, really useful, doing a lot of burning, because this Naga has the auto cast on those frost arrows, which thinks he's taken a fair bit of damage, but he did kill one of them. It looks like both of those fairy dragons have been focused down. The remaining bears are going to die as well, and there is, I think, we just saw a scroll of healing go off right there. Maybe not? I don't know what that was. It looked like it was, but it might not have been. And here we go. The human player is actually going to push the elf player back just a little bit. And if he can go ahead and buy maybe a scroll of regeneration to heal up his units, that would be great. But it looks like he just wants to go all out right now. He just wants to try to push his advantage that he got from winning the fight and say, let's go ahead and try to do a bit more damage. He's going to take down another fairy dragon. Very good play right there. And he is going to keep on working on, maybe it looks like the Demon Hunter. He's going to pop a potion of healing on the Naga Sea Witch. And there you go. Now he's just going to keep on going for that Demon Hunter. The Demon Hunter, however, also going to pop a potion of healing. It looks like he's going to get rejuvenated, and I don't see any way out of that. Now the Naga's going to get surrounded by that footman coming out of nowhere, and this might be the death or a TP. If this is a TP, oh, it's the death. He did not quite TP there, and he could have, but he just didn't. And I don't know if he did that intentionally or not. Maybe he was going to just try to wait to the last second, possibly wanting to hopefully get the kill on the Naga, but didn't quite work out for him, and there you go. And the human player now satisfied with what he's done. He's going to back off and try to heal up just a little bit. He has a mortar team out, which is going to allow him to start really raining down a little bit of hellfire onto these dryads, but there's really not that many dryads at the moment. We're probably going to see some more on the way. Indeed, we do. We have 3 out on the field, but there's only 1 in the battle fight right now. The battle fight, sure. Second Arcane Sanctum going up very right in the middle of everything and in the front of the base, but it's not really going to get affected by anything. We're going to see that Naga taking a lot of hits as well, kind of running right through everything, just like, you know, saying whatever, I'm not afraid of your bears, because the bears weren't even paying attention. They're going for the rifleman, and they are actually going to kill those guys quite quickly. Yeah, actually, the human's army has pretty much just went ahead and evaporated at this point. He has lost more or less everything. He's going to lose all those mortar teams. There's 1 up. Is he going to lose this one as well? It looks like he will. If he just goes for it, he's going to have to attack it one more time by pretty much anything except the Dryad. But the Dryad can do it too. The Dryad can. He just needs 1 more attack. It's 2 HP. Just a bear. Anything can kill that. It's going to happen. It's going to go down. It dies. Now the Archmage is kind of surrounded by bears and his own units, and oh my, he's just going to have to get out of there. He's going to run. The shop is also dead, so he can't buy any more potions. This is all looking kind of bad. He needs to bring in a militia at this point or something, but his only militia could pretty much be those gold miners. At this point, that might be worth it, but those are bears. And bears are not particularly easy to kill. He's just going to have to maybe come back and try to regroup. I'm not sure what this peasant right here is doing. Maybe it was a militia, and I just didn't see it, and it converted back into a peasant because it had been fighting for so long. Maybe that's what happened. It could very well have been the case that that's what happened. And in fact, we're going to see this poor sorceress. His life is definitely on the line here, and it looks like he is not going to make it, or she's not going to make it. She goes down. She dies, and here comes the staff on the Demon Hunter out there at level 5, getting quite close to level 6. We're going to see the Naga also level 5, and the Archmage almost level 6 as well, halfway through level 5, maybe a little more than that. An Arcane Sanctum does go down. The human player still has one up. There's about 1,500 gold left in each of the main gold mines. Actually, less than 1,000. There's about 950 left in the Night Elf player's gold mine, and 1,450 left in the human player's main gold mine. However, if we look down here, we can see that there's 8,200 in the human's expansion and 9,400 in the elf player's expansion. So, if this game does kind of go into the late, it's going to maybe be slightly favoring neither player from the economy advantage. They're both so close, it just doesn't even matter. But here's the one big concern. I think that normally I would say that the level 6 Archmage is much more powerful than Illidan's, because Illidan's, while it's very good and it's absolutely wonderful in a battle against the Archmage's level 6, you can just kind of TP away from the battle and say, take a base, because I'll kill your bases with my mortar teams a little bit faster than you will, because you have Dryads in your army, and really all you're gonna get your most DPS is gonna come from that hero. But on a map this small, I don't know if that is going to be even the case. It might be that Illidan, with his Metamorphosis as his ultimate, is just going to be slightly stronger if he gets to it. And it looks like both players might just get to it, because one more fight, and it looks like both players are going to have level 6 heroes, depending on how the fight goes. But so it's very interesting that we're seeing this right now. This happened, and both players are going relentlessly for each other. But really, it's more the human player, the Night Elf player, who just keeps attacking this human player's base. He doesn't even care about the expansion, because the expansion has towers. This base has no towers, so he's just going for it. And he knows he can smell blood, he can smell the level 6, he's just going to nuke stuff down, kills the mortar team. Why not? Any kind of experience he can get on that Demon Hunter at this point brings him closer to level 6, and if he gets level 6 first, that's going to be a really big advantage. One Dryad going down right now. You can see the Naga for the human player getting a lot of focus, as well as the Archmage. Going to pop a Scroll of Healing and back off. There we go. A Rifleman, however, having to die. A Sorcerer's dying as well. And here we can see finally some Priests coming out. Priests are going to be really effective. He really could use the second Arcane Sanctum at this point. He's just not being able to quite pump out enough units. We can see that the Elf player sitting at 67 out of 80 food, and the human player sitting at 43 out of 72. So the elf player is sitting really pretty happy right now. He's got the advantage. He's just going to push that. He's going to try to kill all of these buildings that he can. And again, we can see how close this Demon Hunter is to the next level. He's only, I think, 24 experience away. 24 experience away from level 6. That is like one kill on just about anything. This Rifleman could very well do it. It does. There it is, level 6 with 6 XP to spare. So now he has Metamorphosis. If he wants to use it, he has the mana for it. He's probably not going to use it right now. He doesn't need to, but he can go ahead and try to start doing some damage to the keep. This keep is important regardless of the fact that that gold mine just died, so he needs to try to keep it alive. Not only does it provide like this kind of positioning buffer, it's also tech if he wants to rebuild all of those tech buildings, because he's been losing them. But the human player says, I have to go for the trade. I have to go for your expansion. And is he going to be able to get this as he TPs out? He will be able to kill it with those mortars being absolutely fantastic right there. The human player does not have many units. He doesn't have many units, but he has heart. Right? That's what counts. But he killed the expansion, so there you go. The elf player is going to be delayed for a little while. He's going to have to either walk this guy down there. In fact, it looks like maybe that's one of his plans. The Nature's Blessing, probably more so just for the armor, because it brings things up to 7. Which is very vitally important against any kind of human who wants to play this kind of mortar team, I guess, quote-unquote lame tactic, as you might say. And, you know, because there's no way he can fight this army. So the human player, or the elf player, just kind of readying himself up for dealing with that type of play with Nature's Blessing. And it's also not that bad to have it, just in case you want to uproot, and maybe there's a surprise tank somewhere on the map. It's really unlikely, because it's been non-stop action the whole game, and the human player's just been behind the whole time. So can he turn this around? It seems really unlikely. I don't think that the human player could survive an assault right now on this base. There's going to be a Metamorphosis in there. He just doesn't have very many units. He's got all these peasants. He should do maybe a militia call, bring him down at some point, but he probably not a bad idea just to wait. He's got enough wood, I think. No, he doesn't. He needs to be actually mining wood with those guys, I think. And then if he needs to use them, on to, you know, to bring militia, then he should do that. But at first, definitely should be probably getting some wood. Wood's important. Now, he does have that arcane sanctum and a workshop down here. These are two very important tech buildings, and that's allowing him to kind of rebuild an army down here, as you can see. Maybe he can hold things off, but again, you have to keep in mind he's 20 food down still, because he's at 57 food compared to 69. And I say 57, that's including all the queued up stuff that hasn't quite come out. So it's kind of a big deal, and he can't really prevent this. He can't stop this. There's nothing he can do. He's going to try to militia this guy down, just run him away. There's a spellbreaker coming out. He's got these two dudes. He also should bring those guys down, but I guess he doesn't quite care that much, because here comes the human player, and the human player. I saw the Naga. I was about to say night. So no, it's the human player coming down here to the Tree of Life, going to cancel that, and he's just going to say, well, you know what? I'm going to have level 6 soon at some point, probably, so I'll go try to get it from wisps and killing your buildings and stuff, because your buildings give experience, or at least the ones that can attack. So if I can go up there and kill all those buildings, I can get level 6 on my Archmage, most likely, and probably. I don't know how much it looks like he could. He's very close. He's only 103 XP away, so I think he can definitely get that in 4 or 5 buildings right there, as you can see, and a couple, maybe a wisp or 2. The elf player is going to TP back in, but is it going to be enough? If this fight happens, it looks like it's not going to happen. Maybe we'll see a Dryad going down. However, no, it's going to get staffed on out of there, though I don't think it was in any danger, because those mortar teams totally missed regardless. But there you go. Now, the human player is mining gold right now, and he is going to keep on pushing into upkeep if he wants to. He does have to rebuild farms, so he's working on that. As you can see, building 4 farms at this expansion right now. If the elf player decided to come in here and mount an attack through the bottom, he could still do what he did up here, because up here, basically, he was looking at attacking workshops and arcane sanctums, and he could still do that pretty easily. There's only 1, maybe 2 towers in range if he's killing all this tech right through here, as well as crippling the wood income for the human player. But if he does this, he does have to do it at a very critical time. He can't do it at the same time as the human player being at his base, because the human player will win any kind of race, because he's got all those mortar teams right there, which is a lot of siege damage, and siege damage is quite a bit of extra damage to buildings. So that's one very big concern. Also, mortar teams behind a wall of towers is kind of a difficult thing to defend against, or well, to attack into. We're also going to see a keep tech being picked up right here for the human player at this expansion. It's going to give him the ability to call to militia. It's also going to give him the ability to rebuild any of this tech that he loses, and also take up additional stuff. Seeing a Sorceress Adept training coming out, because he was food blocked there for a little bit of time, so that was a good time, good efficient use of his building time, or his research time, whatever you want to call that. Of course, always sucks to go into food at 56 out of 78 food when you don't have the ability to go into upkeep any further, but you in a desperate move, sometimes you do those things. You don't necessarily want to. Down here we can see the elf player finally being able to kind of establish a base down here, putting down some buildings here just for some extra support. And of course, this thing is a Tree of Eternity, so it's a lot harder to kill than a Tree of Life. It's got 2,000 life and 7 armor, a little bit better than those Tree of Lives, which I think are 1250. Off the top of my head, I could be wrong, but I think it's about 1250. Here we can see the Archmage kind of moving out as an invisible guy, and he's probably going to move over here to the shop, try to pick up some items. Here we can see that the Naga came in and just kind of hit this peasant and lightninged it, taking a lot of damage to do that. It's an interesting move. It's a move, I guess he's trying to do something without attacking into the towers. I don't quite know, but here we go. The Archmage picks up a Scroll of Town Portal as well as a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, and it looks like he's going to just move on, mosey on back to his base real quick. I really would have liked to see him just surround that Naga, because he could have surrounded that Naga with the invisible Archmage, and it wouldn't have mattered because there is a staff, but I think that would have been a fantastic move, and I feel like that's missed potential. And also, not only that, he might have been able to kill it, because if he had hold position right here on the Archmage and the Naga tried to move back, the Naga would have went down this way. And if the elf player wasn't paying really good attention and expecting the unexpected, such as an invisible Archmage blocking your way, he might have been able to get the kill, because if that Naga came down here, it would have died. It would have not been nearly close enough in staff range, because the Demon Hunter was back here. So that would have been a really good move, and I want to point that out. That would have been a really good move. Although it might have went up as well. I don't know, which I guess it probably would have went up, so it would have went this way. Still, okay, it would have been a cool move, and he still might have died, because that's still quite a distance. Regardless, here we go. All the mortar teams are actually invisible. The Archmage is invisible. The Naga Sea Witch is invisible, and I don't know, does the elf player know this is the case? Did he notice when he came in here? Did he notice? He saw all this shit. Did he notice? Because he should be attacking right now. He should be attacking right into his face with everything he has. There's just 5 towers and some units defending. Not enough units to really stop him. And here come those mortar teams. Is this Night Elf or the human player going to turn this game around? It looks like he might be able to get the kill on this Tree of Eternity. The elf player is coming back. He's running back, but he is not going to get there in time. It doesn't look like to actually stop this. He might be able to kill a couple of these mortar teams, but this Tree of Eternity is almost certainly going to go down. If he TPs right now, is that too late of a TP? Is it too early of a TP? Maybe, maybe not. Is it going to go down? It goes down as he TPs out, and it looks like 2 of the mortar teams die, but that's quite the trade, or maybe even 3, I can't tell. No, because mortar teams have 2 skeletons. There you go. You learned something, because there's 2 dudes, right? 2 dudes, so 2 skeletons. Yeah. So the elf player actually just lost his only income once again, and this time he doesn't have any kind of Tree of Life built as a backup at this point. Which, you know, in this situation, I wouldn't actually be adverse to someone building a Tree of Life, like a second one, just as a backup in case the first one dies. I think that would be a really clever play because you have the resources to do so. You know, if you look at that. Okay, he doesn't right now. Actually, he doesn't even have enough gold at the moment to rebuild his Tree of Life, so he's gonna have to sell stuff to get that to happen. So he needs to do that. He also needs to creep up because there is a couple of creeps left on the map. There's those, there's these, and I think that might be it. But that's gold income that you can get, and so that's gold income he should get. Although he just lost all of his wisps, except 1, I think. Does he have any on his main base? He's got 2 up here. I'm looking for more. So he's got like 3? That's not great. That's not great, and this human player is just going to keep on. He's got level 6 on the Archmage at this point, so he can start doing the mass TP lame kind of thing with his mortar teams, with his Naga, and of course with the invisibility on the sorceresses, he can summon a water elemental, turn it invisible, send it out here, you know, somewhere over here. Maybe it gets to this far and he mass TPs to it, and then he just waits a minute, comes in here and attacks, and then mass TPs out whenever the elf shows up. So this is going to be one of those games where the elf has to have a lot of good scouting. The elf kind of I don't want to say it's the elf's fault that this happened, but it kind of is. I mean, the human played really smart and turned this around. And I think at this point, I think the human even has an advantage. But the human is going to kind of be in a situation here in just a minute where he's going to have all the gold that he can mine out. He's got about 2,000 gold left to spend. Well, not even quite that because he's in a low upkeep. And you know, that's more than his opponent. That's about 7,000 more gold than his opponent, more or less. I'm not quite sure how the upkeep works out on who took the most hit there, but around 7,000 more gold mined. Tree of Life coming up for the elf player, but that's going to take a while. And even if he does get it again, he does have to be concerned. And again, he can just sit there and invis mortar all that stuff. That is a lot of mortars. That is 3, 6, 5. that's six mortars that he can go invisible with, as well as his hero, and just go attack something, ram into a base, TP out of there with a mass TP, and just, you know, that could be really difficult to deal with. The elf player probably is going to have to split his army up a little bit to deal with that. But if you do that, then the mortar teams and the heroes kind of wreck. Oh, he's going to just go for a mass TP straight into something. It's actually right here at this base, which actually has quite a bit of a defense on its way right on over here. These bears, this could have been a very interesting choice. Maybe not the best for the human player. He should really probably get out of here before he loses units. I don't think it's worth losing any units here. I don't think so, but maybe he thinks it is. There it goes. There's a TP. He killed a couple of things, lost a couple of things, but he lost, I think, was that a mortar team? He lost a mortar team. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have done that if I was him. I think once I saw that was the case, I would have just, you know, focused on the buildings and got out of there. I wouldn't have worried about those units, because if you don't kill them, they just rejuvenate up, and it's, you know, halfway through daytime. So, you know, after this battle, by the time that they really get to the next fight, they could have really used all the Moonwell juice that they have, and then the moon will be nighttime, start regenerating again. Well, maybe not. I mean, half a day, but still, I don't know. I don't know. It was a very ballsy decision. The Demon Hunter, I don't know when he popped that Metamorphosis, but he's trying to use it to kill these towers, which is not a bad idea. It's actually a really, really good idea. He could easily kill 2 towers, 3 towers, 4 towers with 1 Metamorphosis and then just get out of there. And there'd really be nothing that the human player could do about it, honestly. I mean, even if he was attacking it, I mean, how much is that really going to do to a Metamorphosis DK? I don't think all that much, actually. But here we see an invisible peasant. That is a mass teleport target if he wants to. Again, I think his better bet is to invisibility on his units and then walk over there, but he doesn't care. He's just going to do it this way. It's a little bit gold inefficient this way, but who cares? Now, this could be really good if he gets this Tree of Life, and in fact, if he just... Don't worry about the Naga. Don't worry about the Naga. No, let's get the Tree of Life. He's going to do both. Is he going to do... He might get both. He gets the Naga. Wow, level 6 on his Naga as well. That means he has Tornado. Oh, man, Tornado is really good, especially in this situation. It's good against everything, and is he going to use it? I don't know, but he could totally use that. He can kill this Tree of Life as well. Where's the Demon Hunter? The Demon Hunter is not quite here. He's making his way on over this way, but by the time he gets here, the fight's going to be over. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, the human player is seeping out. Does he get the Tree of Life? He doesn't kill the Tree of Life. What? What? Oh, man, what? Oh, but he's got the Naga still here, apparently, so... Maybe that'll kill it. I don't know. He's got Tornado. If you use Tornado, that would definitely kill it, but he's just going to go for it, and will that kill it? It does kill it, but he's going to lose his Naga. We're not going to get to see Tornado, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe he gets to revive it in time. I mean, level 6 is a long revive timer, though. But he does have the money, so he could do it. He's got the altar as well. He's going to work on it. I would like to see Tornado in this game. Tornado is the best ability in the whole game. That's not true, but I love the ability, and I love the Naga, who's also the best hero in the game. That's also not true, but I love the Naga. So there, I want to see I just want to see Tornado. That's all I'm saying. I want to see Tornado. I like the ability. It's really cool. It affects buildings. It affects things. It's just really cool. It's a really cool ability. It's really cool. But there you go. This game. It's a very strange game, but it's hopefully entertaining. It's oddly enjoyable. I'd like to see the invisible mortars. Again, what are you doing? I don't understand. He just doesn't care about his gold. He just doesn't care about his gold. Although, doing this, he knows that the army was down here, so maybe this is a good decision. Maybe he'll have enough time to mass teleport out of here as well. I think this is the last wisp right there. If that wisp goes down, then there's absolutely no way I think that the elf player could win against the mass TP stuff. If the wisp goes down, I don't know if it's gonna die. It might not. Here comes the elf player. A couple of dryads, a couple of bears, a lot of bears actually, and the demon hunter. But he's mass TP's already back up. So yeah, that was actually a really good play by the human player right there. Really, really good. Although he keeps messing up his teleports just a little bit, and 2 units are gonna die for that. That priest, he was just a man of God. He just wanted to spread the word of holy fire. Oh, priest. Oh, priest. I'm so sorry. Night elves, their only god is a loon. If you're not spreading the word of a loon to a night elf, they're like, no, we're gonna murder you. They're very vicious people. They very much are. Did you see what they did to that big demon at the World Tree? It was just they just suicided right into him, like thousands of wisps. It was just unbelievably. It's quite the expression of power. Anyway, so level 7 on the Demon Hunter. He's going to try to make something happen. He has a Metamorphosis. He can kill the towers if he wants to. He can maybe go for this army as well. Yeah, this army would take a lot of damage from a Metamorphosis DK or Demon Hunter. He might actually have just wasted the Metamorphosis, so he might just have. I understand what he's thinking, because he's thinking, well, I have to protect my stuff with my army. Otherwise, he'll just mass TP and kill it all before I can do anything about it. But I also need to do something about this. Otherwise, I just lose. So what does the Night Elf do in this situation? That's a great question. Now, the Night Elf player, he has not enough money to do anything. He's got 45 gold, 1 wisp, and there is an invisible peasant at both locations. So that's not good for him. You know, I think this is the human's game to lose. If I don't think there's any way that the human can't lose this at this point. And I really thought that there was probably no way he could actually win it as well. Like, just, you know, 5-6 minutes ago, he was at such a disadvantage. He was like 30-40 food disadvantage, and he just turned it around. Really done a good job. But yeah, there you go. In this fight, I mean, at this point, the fights are almost not even important, because the human player he kills stuff and he leaves. He kills stuff and he leaves. Stuff has died on the human player as well, but we can see that the elf player is sitting at 30 food and the human's at 43, so really the human player can kind of afford to lose stuff. But on top of that, as long as he keeps a couple of mortar teams alive and his archmage alive, pretty much he can kill anything. It almost doesn't even matter. It's like it doesn't even matter. I am a little sad that he lost his peasant, because he could have moved it down here, TP'd, waited just a little bit of time, and then come in and attacked, and then had a mass TP up, and not have lost the peasant or anything. But and this peasant's also going to die because the invisibility wore off. So yeah, good eye by the Night Elf player though. Yeah, but more peasants on their way that are in their invisible glory. Again, just some minor things that I'm not a big fan of about the play that they're doing. Again, I really don't think it's the greatest idea to just TP in, because there's really no pressure being done to your base, and you know that. So I think it's well worth moving down here and TPing to it down here. Not out of sight. That way you can have your mass teleport up, your cooldown on that up before you go in for the attack, or almost up. That way, in case something does go bad, you can just get out of there again without really losing anything. And I think not losing units in this case is really, really key to making sure you don't lose the game to kind of in like a flunky type of way. And also don't miss the opportunity to well, I guess it wouldn't matter because there's more teams that could have killed the trees. But I was thinking, oh man, he could totally he could totally surround that demon hunter into the tower range, which really wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have done anything for him, but it would have been really cool. It would have been really cool. But then the mortar teams would have killed the trees. So whatever. That's whatever. So here's a fight. This is a fight. It doesn't. I don't know. Will the demon hunter solo the whole army? It seems fairly unlikely. There's a Naga that's slowing it, which makes it much less potent. And he's gonna go for the sorceresses, which is a good idea. But one does stay alive, which means he can't quite stop the invisibility spam just yet. So that's the thing. Another thing would be a good idea, probably, to make sure that sorceress doesn't die ever by not letting it. By putting it over here, maybe like just cutting a path into the trees and putting like a big thing in here and just putting that there, with a farm and then a farm and then the sorceress, and then I don't. That's a crazy idea. I don't know why you would do that. But hey, he can actually make more sorceresses, it looks like, because he does have 848 gold. So I guess it doesn't really matter all that much. At this point, I'm just gonna kind of speed it up a little bit. I'm just going to speed it up. We're going to go to 4x speed here. I think at this point we kind of know what's coming. We kind of have the idea. We're just going to watch it as the elf player tries to hold on. This is what it looks like when someone's desperate. This is desperation. And I'm not saying that the elf player couldn't win the game, because he could if the human player really messed up, because Metamorphosis is pretty strong. But I don't think that that's going to happen. It just is so unlikely. Yeah, it's so very unlikely at this point. But there is a Metamorphosis. He's going to come in there trying to do as much as he can with the Demon Hunter. The Demon Hunter gets out with 88 HP, but good game is called, and that's good game, guys. So thanks for watching. And that's Warcrafting. Now, before we go, I will say that one thing, I know Zotac has ended. Zotac Warcrafting Cup, it's no more. The last ones happened and I missed them. And actually, I think, yeah, the weekend that was going on, I was doing a game jam at Eastern Kentucky University, my university, and some of you guys showed up to our stream. We had a live stream set up. I say some of you guys, there was like 130 people at one point spamming John or Riots in the stream chat. That was pretty funny. that was pretty funny. I was trying to focus on game development at the time, because it's a competition. We have like a very short period of time, so I didn't really get to say anything to anyone. But that was pretty funny. And thanks for showing up. I don't know. The goal of this stream was more for people who were interested in game development, but it wasn't that great of a stream anyway. So all I'm saying is it was entertaining. Thanks for making my day. It was very much an unexpected and very hilarious thing. So that was cool if you showed up, which some of you did, because I recognize quite a few of the names. You guys are really funny. But other than that, there's a couple of things I also want to talk about as well. There are tournaments that are kind of in a way taking Zotac's place, and there's going to be more information about that probably coming over the next week or two, so don't despair. I know a lot of people are very much despairing. I've gotten quite a few messages, and I just wanted to say, like, don't worry, guys. There's going to be more games coming. There's going to be more tournaments coming. This community is a great community, and we're not just going to lay down and die. We're not going to do that. We're the Warcraft 3 community, so come on. Have some faith in each other. We got some really great guys. War 3 TV is one right now that's kind of looking at it. It's kind of coming up. It's run, I think, by Frost over at WCR. I don't have the information up on my screen right now, but I'm going to make a video in a bit. I don't know when that's going to be. Once I have all the information, I'm going to make a video up and kind of talk about the changes and what's going to happen and what tournaments are kind of taking the place in the format and all that stuff, so that you guys can kind of say, okay, this is cool, and if you're interested, you can play in them. I think all the tournaments are going to be open to anyone, just like Zotac was, and we'll potentially be casting those like we casted Zotac. But at the moment, I still can't do any live casting at the moment because of my roommate situation, living in a dorm. But this is my last semester, so you know it will come to be that like in a couple of months, 3-4 months, I will definitely be able to start live streaming and casting again, which I can't wait to do. And so that is exciting, and it's on the horizon. I know that's still a bit of a ways away, but it's there. So yeah, and hopefully we'll be able to get more consistent content out again. Right now there is a bit of a lull. I don't know what word I'm going for. A bit of a gap in content for Warcraft 3 in terms of replays that I can find. Although normally I wasn't really getting Zotac games, which is another thing I just want to clear up. Most of the games that I've done have not been from Zotac on the channel, actually, because I figure most people have already seen them because they get live streamed. So I try not to really go into the Zotac games just because I don't want to duplicate the content that you've already seen. And I know that that's not quite going to be always the case. Sometimes you're going to miss those games, and then you would understand, like you would appreciate the cast, but I feel like there's enough people who would see them, and there are the VODs up on Twitch. Not my VODs right now, because like I said, I currently have been unable to actually live cast those for a couple more months, but there are other casters who do a great job with that. And also, I feel like I should just do like one vlog type video for all this stuff. I put it at the end of these videos, and I'm like, I need to just like write it out a list, let's get my thoughts organized, and then say, okay, here's what we're gonna do, and that's kind of what's gonna be coming up when I do discuss the changes and the aftermath of Zotac. So we'll go into that. I don't know when that video is gonna be done. It's gonna probably be within the next 2 weeks, so look for it. And I think I'm just gonna end this here because this has gone on for a while. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.